All right. Hey, gang. So, yes, Tom Melville is here. He's our personal fitness merit badge counselor for today, and I'll introduce him formally in just a moment here. But this is Chris Bartell, and I'm the marketing and communications director here at Cascade Pacific Council. And this has all been quite an experiment, pretty amazing. We currently have 216 participants. We just finished coin collecting merit badge, and I think we had 235 participants there, and from all over the place. So super, super fun. As I mentioned just a moment ago, we've turned off the chat just because it ends up really being a distraction. This session won't take too long. We're just going to walk you guys through it because we want to just give you the tools that you need. And personal fitness is a longer merit badge for you to work on, but it's just perfect timing since, you know, it's really, we've all got this nice long vacation, so to speak, to work on this. So anyway, I've turned off a couple of things, but we might have some questions for you, so I'll turn on the chat. But just so you know, we're recording this so your other fellow scouts and friends can watch it later as well. We will then send some follow-up emails with some links and things like that. But first of all, I'm just going to go through a couple things real quick. So Tom Melville is here. Say hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
That's Tom. He is actually my Scoutmaster at Troop 107 in Northeast Portland here in Cascade Pacific Council. And Tom is all about fitness. He takes us on quite the epic adventures. And so fitness is his jam. So he's a good guy to be doing this. And again, my name is Chris Bartell, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at the CPC. And so if you have questions or whatnot, feel free to email me after this. But here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to give you a little bit of how the digital academy that we've literally just created in the last few days to give you guys things to do for scouts and to keep advancing and have fun, and how this sort of works here. We'll talk about personal fitness. Some of you were, I recognize a bunch of you, you were actually just on the past coin collecting merit badge, so that was fun too. And it's an easy one. That's going to be a fun and easy one. And we'll talk about the requirements and how you'll get approvals for this as well. So, but first and foremost, for those of you who are in the Cascade Pacific Council or visiting or like to come here in the summertime, because we have some fantastic camps here, is that summer camp is still happening despite what's going on out there in the world. We're still planning on having camp, and we have some availability in Cub camps as well. We have, for those of you who have not been here, we actually had some scouts from Texas who have visited before, and fun to hear their stories. Yeah, we get a lot of kids from Texas because, you know, they like to come to our beach, which is fantastic in the summertime. So we've got camps on the beach, we've got camps in the mountains, we've got camps with more horses than or as many horses as Philmont, I believe. Actually, more horses than any other council. So it's pretty awesome. And this year, new at camp is we have flushing outhouses. I don't know what everybody else calls them around the country, around the world, but we call them kaibos here. And but we have new flushing outhouses at every camp. So those of you who have been to camp, you know how important that could be, and some new shower houses, things like that. But anyway, camp is going on. Also, for those of you who are in the Cascade Pacific Council, we have some, and are doing the Camp for All fundraiser. We have some new really fun promotional videos there you can use on social media and things. Those are really, really fun. You'll get the link in this, or you can find it at the Camp for All page on the CPC website. So a little bit about how this academy works that we've developed in the last couple of days is a bit different, but it is approved in terms of how we'll get merit badges, and you'll achieve things and get these requirements done. Basically, as you're doing right now, you're going to watch these webinars. We are able to see who is on the webinar, but also how engaged you are and how long you're on the webinar. So it kind of tracks, it's kind of like being in class, but hopefully we'll have a little more fun than that. You'll then receive email notifications for any follow-ups that are needed. Tom and I were just chatting. We will have a follow-up webinar to check in with you guys, so you can see, we can see how you're doing and see if you need any help. You'll have the downloadable worksheet that you can complete. You have an option. You can either do it on paper if you want, or on the worksheet, and you can actually type it and save it. Either way, what's going to happen is then you will submit your work. And in some merit badges, some cases you have extra things that you'll do, like you'll take a picture of plants you find for some plant requirements or things like that, or for coin collecting, you'll take pictures of the coins you collected and you'll send those up onto the Google Drive, which you'll have a link to that here. Then we will have a whole bunch of merit badge counselors, because this is not just a small class of 10 scouts. We've got 230 almost now. So we will have a whole bunch of merit badge counselors walk through and approve all the things that you've accomplished. And then you'll receive basically a spreadsheet, a grid sheet of, just like at summer camp, or at least how our summer camps do it. And you'll receive a sheet that you can then give to your advancement chair or your scout master, and they can give you blue cards or upload it into Scout Book and whatnot. So anyway, I'm gonna let Tom take it away, and he can talk a little bit about personal fitness.
Hi, everybody. The number one reason for personal fitness merit badge, other than being personally fit, and for those in my troop, we believe that the scout owed safely, mentally awake, and morally strong. So fitness is a big part of your life, and it's something that is important to start young so that you carry it through until you're older. And part of the purpose of the merit badge is to show you the reasons and the benefits of actually living fit. One of the side benefits to doing the personal fitness merit badge is it knocks out an Eagle required badge. And again, I can't stress enough that working on Eagle required merit badges all through your scout tenure is really, really important. Next slide, Chris.
Well, I'm going to say right here, the reason that Tom keeps us physically fit is this is our troop here in Yosemite last summer, and it was a pretty epic adventure, I'd say. How many miles did we do up there?
I think the short hikers did 56 miles and about 30,000 total feet of elevation gain. The long hikers did about 66 miles and a few extra thousand vertical feet. So it was a fairly audacious trip.
Yes, it was, but it's awesome. And we like to do these things. And boy, when you're physically fit, it sure makes it a lot easier when you're lugging 50, 60 pounds on your back and you're going, 60, 70 miles. So.
And one of the things about the personal fitness merit badge, and we'll actually cover this more in the next webinar, but I want to talk about it right now because Chris brought it up. We had a young scout on our trip who was 11 and turned 12 on the very first day of our trip. And he was a very, very small kid. And there was one day that was particularly hard, and we were going up the side of a mountain pass at about 10,000 feet, and he bonked. He was out of energy, couldn't carry his pack anymore. And I borrowed another scout's jar of peanut butter and a spoon, and I stuffed about 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter and a cracker in that kid's mouth, along with some beef jerky. And that little bit of proper protein fuel was enough to get him to grab his pack out of my hands and carry it up the pass all on his own. So again, in the next webinar, we're going to talk a little bit about food and fuel for your body and when it's appropriate to use proteins and fats and carbs and where sugar fits into that. Again, that's all part of personal fitness, is not just exercise, but fuel and proper nutrition. So go ahead. So your assignments for this week are basically to do sections 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the next week. You're welcome to move on. But the ones that are critical between now and next week are sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. I would also add 7 and starting number 8. So let's start here with number 1. On the very first page, it's 1A, and 1A1 is talk about why physical exams with your doctor, like for the BSA medical form that you need to go to summer camp, why is that important? And I think one of the requirements there is to also go to that physical fitness exam. Of course, you can't really do that right now. That's why I haven't really put that one on the requirement list for this week. But this is absolutely perfect time for you to look at the very start of the second page of the outline, 1A number 2, why preventable habits, preventive habits such as exercise are important in maintaining good health, and how other things can negatively affect your health, tobacco, alcohol, etc. So that's a section number 2 and number 3 and number 4 and 5 here. that can be really useful to get you thinking about how you can plan to be more healthy and what things can get in the way. 1B is at the top of page 3, unfortunately talks about a dental exam. And if your dentist is anything like my dentist, you're not going to be able to get an appointment right away. So again, that's something that will happen down the road. But as Chris said, the personal fitness merit badge is a longer one. It requires at least 12 weeks of tracking your exercise and complying with an exercise plan that you create. So number 7, requirement number 7 in the packet, it's going to be all the way down, Chris, on page 7.
I'll scroll on down
here. At the bottom of page 7 is number 7. And in number 7, you outline a fitness program that you're going to use for over 12 weeks. So you start with some warm-up, aerobics, strengths, flexibility, and cool down. So warm-up could be things like jumping jacks. One of the things that I love to do for warm-up and high-intensity cardio is jump rope. It's amazing how when you get older, doing simple things that you could do when you were a kid forever becomes a challenge. I recently did 300 jump ropes in a row without tripping. So if any of you can get to that level, you'll catch me. That's a great warm-up. Aerobic exercise, that can be interval training. Jump rope for a minute or for 2 minutes and take 2 minutes off and then do it again for a minute. And do that for a stretch. Do at least 4 or 5 rotations. You can run around the neighborhood park. Remember, even in this time when of social distancing and potentially sheltering in place, you're allowed to leave to take the dog for a walk or to go for exercise. So we want you guys to be getting outside, especially in the nice weather we're having right now, and get some aerobic exercise. Go jog around the park or jog around the neighborhood. Take your dog for a jog if you have a dog that will do the jogging. Ordinarily in a class, I would ask for some examples of aerobics or some examples of strength exercises. This goes back to your very early tenderfoot requirements. How many push-ups can you do? How many sit-ups can you do? Those are strength exercises. How many pull-ups? How many chin-ups, right? And a chin-up is where your fingers face away over the bar. A pull-up is where your fingers face you on the bar. So I encourage you all to put those kinds of strength exercises down. How many sit-ups can I do? How many push-ups? How many pull-ups and chin-ups? And what other kinds of strength exercises can you come up with? We might give a bonus to kids who come up with unique ideas for strength exercises. The last part of that is flexibility. So we want to encourage you kids to do some stretching. You want to stretch your legs, you want to stretch your arms, you want to stretch your back and your abdominals. Google can be a great resource for flexibility options. And finally, cool down. Again, this would be going for a walk around the park. After you've run around it 3 or 4 times, go for a short walk. Number 8 is, as I recall, the last requirement. And what number 8 talks about is it gives you a chart where you track what you do in your exercise for 12 weeks. Now, we're not going to hold you that if you are scheduled to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday workouts and you have to do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that's fine. But we want to see you getting at least 3 days of physical fitness related activity for 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 3 full months. If we are starting this on March the 20th, you will be exercising until April 20th and May 20th and June 20th. I assume you all have thought outside the box already and you realize that you're likely still to be in school on or around June 20th this year. So really this physical fitness merit badge, the personal fitness merit badge, should take you right up until the end of the school year. We have some parts in the syllabus that you have in front of you, if Chris goes back to that, that talks about we're here for a discussion. And I did not participate in the coin collecting merit badge earlier today, so I'm not sure how the discussion parts of this would work. Chris, is there a way we can do discussions with 200 and some odd scouts?
Yeah, we were doing chats before, and so if you guys have any specific questions, we can do that, and I can turn that on. But also, I really find it interesting, definitely in question 3 here, talking about preventable diseases. Well, we happen to be in a situation where we can really talk about that. So that's a really super easy answer that you can add into the worksheet, and because we're all dealing with it. So how are you preventing it right now, right? You're probably washing your hands a lot, and I don't know if you guys in the other councils have a scrubby, scrubby, scrubby song that we had at Cub Camp, and that drives everybody bonkers, and it's so funny, but it's totally true. Everybody's scrubbing their hands all over the place, which is awesome. So yeah, we just love to, ensure that you guys are keeping physical. And I would say also that there's so many workouts. If you go with your parents and look at YouTube, there's just tons of different workouts, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, all of that stuff that's literally jumping around, jump training, what they call plyometrics, which is literally jumping up and down and doing walking lunges and things like that. Super awesome exercises if you don't have a jump rope, for instance.
All right, and so let me take a few minutes, and I'm going to ask Chris to turn on some technology, if he's got it, that would allow you guys to send questions or suggestions to us that we could then either read or respond to. But one of the things that comes up is, well, okay, I can do push-ups, I can do pull-ups. What can I do to lift weights and bench press and those kinds of things? You can take an old tennis ball can and fill it up with sand or fill it up with water. You could take 2 1-gallon milk bottles and fill them up with water and use your lashing skills to lash them to the end of a pole, and you've got a bar that you can use for bench press, right? So there's sort of no limit to the things that you can do. What we're hoping is that as you do them, you will keep those notes about what you're doing for your strength and your flexibility and your aerobic exercises in your notes, so that we can talk about that next week with some of the other scouts.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting a couple of questions here. No throwing chairs at your brother is not ideal exercise, but that's funny. So would a martial art count? Yeah, you can. That's a great form of exercise. And somebody asked if you get fitness forms. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to show you.
Hold on a second.
Oh, go ahead.
We assume by you asking that question, what you're talking about is the BSA medical form that needs to be completed. And a quick Google search for current BSA med form should take you right to a PDF document for the med form. If you're looking, and that's the one that you and your doctor fill out. If you're looking for the fitness tracker form, Chris has already got that embedded in a hyperlink on the
here on the Google Drive, you'll have this you'll be able to access this. So it's a personal fitness program, and so you can use this sheet. It works pretty good for tracking your fitness. So it's a great little tool here. And yeah, I would say that really any of that exercise is just fantastic. It's really about tracking it and showing that you're improving and doing it and getting on that. Boy, these days, everybody's going to get antsy being at home and stuck at home. So what a great way to just get some energy out and have some fun, or meet some friends and throw a ball, or whatever it is. Just tracking that's going to be super, super helpful. So let's see. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, what can I do to get active even though coronavirus is getting around? I mean, that's a great question. We do want to have social distancing in place. So it is recommended that you stay a certain feet away from people, but it doesn't mean, like as Tom was saying, you go out and take the dog for a walk, go out and run around the block, and whatever it is, even working out, if it's in your basement or your living room or just in the backyard, coming up with some sort of routine that works for you, and doing it with the family can be really, really great. Too, because everyone's going to be
just 6 feet away from each other. Again, there's nobody alive who's ever been through anything like this. And so because that question was asked, I think it makes it important for me to look at the requirements, and in particular, 2A and 2B, which are on page 3. 2A is, what are the reasons for being mentally, physically, socially, and spiritually fit? This is an awesome time for you to think about spirituality. Where does the divine, where does the greater purpose, where does the greater being fit in your life? There are a lot of theological and spiritual questions associated with what's going on right now, and I encourage you to take some time and think about that and write it down. You're not limited to the space that you're given here. You can write a journal page and take a picture of that and upload it to the Google Drive. In section 2B, what does it mean to be mentally healthy? I'm not ashamed to say that I have really been struggling lately with what it's going to mean to be socially isolated and living on my own with no interaction with others. It's truly unprecedented, and there's no one alive who's been through it, and it is stressful. It's stressful for you. Imagine it's stressful for your parents. It's stressful for little brothers or sisters, big brothers or sisters. It's especially stressful for those who are infirm. Think about our grandparents, friends or family who are sick. This is a stressful time, and fitness can be one of the things that help with your psychological well-being. So this is a great time to be thinking about and writing down your thoughts and your feelings about mental and emotional fitness in this time in the world. So again, this is not going to be read by everybody. This is going to be read by a merit badge instructor. And so, you know, we take our roles very, very seriously, and we really want to know how this is affecting you guys, because we want to be here to support you, which is why we're doing all of this.
Yeah. So what we'd like to do is meet again you want to meet next week?
Yeah,
okay.
I would say next Friday at 3 again.
Just do the same time next week, and I will send an email reminder out about this as well. And just to check in, see how everybody's doing, and see if you've gotten started, and start these initial pieces, these first requirements as well. Somebody asked if you've already done these, if it counts. Really what you're supposed to do is you need to, the goal here today with all of these initial sessions is just to kick it off, because you are technically supposed to meet with a merit badge counselor first before starting a merit badge. So that's part of what this is all about. And one thing I'd say is, the great thing I like to do is I go over to the school next door and work out there, because nobody's there, especially in the morning. Nobody was there this morning. It was fantastic. So use the buddy system and grab your family and go throw the Frisbee around or whatnot. That would count as exercise. So I think we've kind of covered it. Let me look and see if there's any more questions.
I do want to dovetail that last part about what Chris talked about, which is there are some parts where you're supposed to meet with and talk with your counselor. And that's in particular item number 3, which starts on page 4 of the packet. We're going to consider that these webinars count as discussing with your merit badge counselor. That would be me and whoever else will be finalizing the review of your grid sheets. But what's important is that you write things down in response to each of the sub paragraphs and questions. So if you have done this before, does it count? Well, the answer is no. And I'm really sorry, but scouting has rules. And one of the rules is that you start a merit badge and you go from the time you started forward. So even if you have answered these questions in the past to someone, now you need to write them down so that we have your answers in writing. That's how you pass and get awarded this merit badge, is to actually do that work and fill out the forms. It doesn't take a certain number of sentences or a certain number of words, but we do want you to have some fairly complete thoughts there, and not just, under 3A, are you living in such a way that the risk of preventable diseases is minimized? And you write yes. If your answer is yes, and I hope to goodness that it is, explain a little bit about why. Again, don't write a whole page about why your life is designed to live healthy, but give us some background in each of those things. And again, your assignments for this week are due numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then outline your fitness plan number 7 and 8. And when we get back next week, We'll talk a little bit more about fitness and nutrition and proper body fuel, because the things that we do when you're in a place like Yosemite Park, where we were last summer, and you've got to finish a 12-mile backpacking day, and you're towards the very end of that, but you still have to go up 2,000 vertical feet. You simply can't do it without proper fuel. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week.
Yeah. So there are a couple more questions here. I'll just, sorry if anybody's experiencing some glitching on this webinar. It's a lot of times with a lot of video, people showing video, that kind of makes it glitch. But yes, we'll have a printable worksheet for you. You'll get a link here shortly. I will send out an email that has the links for you there. And let's see, really any kind of exercise counts. As Tom mentioned, though, your past exercise doesn't count. And really, look, gang, we're going to have lots of time on our hands. All of us are. And so it's just a great opportunity to start this up and work on this for the next, I know it sounds like a long time, next few months, but just getting in the habit of it over the next month when we're all out of school and whatnot is going to be a really great habit. And especially as we're heading into summer and heading into summer camps and going backpacking and going canoeing and doing all those things and bike riding, that, boy, you'll just be so much healthier. You'll just be so much stronger to be able to do those things, which is really, really, really awesome. And let's see here. Really lots of great ideas of yoga and jumping jacks, and yeah, you really can do anything you want. That's walk your cat. Yes, you can walk your cat. If your cat can walk, by golly, that sounds great. Just what I would say is it's about routine. So coming up with the plan, as Tom was saying, it's really about figuring out your plan, and we can discuss that next week. And yes, we do appreciate fewer Rick-rolling messages on the chat, although it is funny. So I will be sending links to the Google Drive. I'll be sending links to the worksheets. You'll get that in the email, whatever email was used to register for this. And remember, for youth protection training, if you're emailing me back and you're a scout, please copy your parents on that. Really important to do that, or your scoutmaster or whatnot. And yeah, we'll be just in touch with you that way, and you can start going. I can't see if there's any other major questions. People talking about breathing exercises. Boy, there are lots of great, in terms of your mental, spiritual health too. There's some great apps, meditation apps you can use. We can talk more about that too. So lots of great ideas. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, you could always reach out to me as well at chris.bartel@scouting.org. And I'll do my best to get to your questions as soon as I can. I'm getting hundreds of emails a day because of our new advancement program here, but I will do my best like a good scout. So anyway, guys, thank you, and gals and scouts and future scouts. This has been awesome, and I really appreciate your time. And if you have other questions, feel free to email me. You can go to the CPC BSA website, cpcbsa.org, and look at the other advancement options that we're going to have here online. We're launching a whole bunch of new merit badges next week as well, so just a real variety. So keep a lookout for that. We'll also mention it on Facebook, Instagram, places like that too. So thanks, gang. Really appreciate all of your talk and questions and chatting, and we're really excited to kick this off, and I hope you are too. Thanks so much. Bye bye.